Hey everyone, how's it going today? And welcome back to another second stimulus check and second stimulus package unemployment benefits extension update. And welcome back, or welcome here. If you guys are brand new here, consider subscribing to join the community. So we have just received brand new details about the second stimulus check. More details as basically a follow-up to yesterday's episode. Definitely consider checking that out if you haven't done so already, because today's episode is going to be a follow-up to that. We have recently just received brand new details, new dollar amounts. We did have a slight tweak to the unemployment that recently did just happen. Now, thankfully, the $300 unemployment is still very, very much there, so unemployment is still on the table. However, there has been a little bit of a slight change about the unemployment, so we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So we're going to get right to it, and I also want to end this talking a little bit about like a potential third stimulus, but it is relatively linked to this second stimulus check. Just a really, really quick touch-up. So we're going to get right to it, but before we begin, make sure you smash the like button because it does help to support this channel. Consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification button for brand new updates on stimulus, especially over the next couple of days with so many different updates and news that is likely going to come out. I do have other videos if you guys are interested in checking out, especially since today is, after all, like a bit of a follow-up episode. There's one, I think it's called like Just In 2 New Bills. It has a photo of Mitt Romney that talks about the most recent proposal. Today is kind of an add-on detailed video to that, and I also have an unemployment guide, I think, in the description in the end screen if you guys are interested. So with that being said, we're going to get started. And also feel free to comment any questions, thoughts about really anything at all. Even more true maybe by the end about your personal thoughts about what you guys think about the new recent adjustments that have recently just been made to the brand new stimulus proposal. So with that being said, let's get this video started. So when it comes to the stimulus checks, we have recently just received brand new details about the stimulus checks. Thankfully, at this time, we now are able to have both the stimulus checks and the unemployment included inside of the brand new stimulus proposal / package. We have recently just received brand new details that the stimulus checks will now likely be priced somewhere between $600 to $700. I believe that the $1,200 is still very much on the table. I believe that there's just a brief talk about the $2,000 stimulus checks, but right now at this time the details are that it's probably going to lean towards $600 to $700. Now they did also make changes to the unemployment, thankfully, in order to try to accommodate, to add the stimulus checks inside. They ended up deciding that thankfully the unemployment will still very much be $300, but they will now be changing the dates above from April to now March of 2021. So now we are going to get one less month of unemployment. Now, I do believe that there may be a little bit of a silver lining that actually goes into this, that maybe a bright side to it, but we're going to touch up about this in just a couple of minutes near the end. But the one update that we did also receive is actually about the timeline, and it's really that while the government shutdown and deadline is still very, very much tomorrow, I think the goal right now is that they're thinking about trying to release some kind of bill or more details about it tomorrow. However, they now don't plan to vote actually until Sunday. They actually did end up delaying it into the weekend. Now, I know this might sound as a little bit of a setback. I do say, however, I do think one thing though is that even if they did end up voting on Friday, which is tomorrow, there is no guarantee that it was going to go through. The likelihood is that it did look promising that it would be, but that even if it actually did go through, they're not really going to be doing too much over the weekends anyway, so it's not going to be able to change anything in terms of like the actual arrival dates of when you'll physically get your student. It probably would have just helped maybe with just the mental aspect, because you'd be able to maybe, and go into the weekend with just the mental relative thought that, that the stimulus was going to finally officially come. So one thing about it is that they did delay the dates, so we likely will not hear their answers about like all the voting related stuff until possibly Sunday now. On another note, the bright side to it is that it does mean that they are now putting a lot of effort, because keep in mind is that considering that we're talking about a group of people that have taken so many vacations every single month while making a 6-figure salary in the process, and some of them with net worth something in like the 7, I think even 8 digits or something like that. The great news is to be able to hear them say that they're going to be working into the weekend means that they're at least trying at this time. Now, the brand new unemployment numbers did recently just came out, and it was recently just released this morning that the following previous week, we have received a brand new report that approximately about 885,000 people just joined us inside of the traditional unemployment. And again, keep in mind this is just traditional. I believe on the PUA, about 455,000 people joined us on unemployment. So now the numbers are going back up again, because remember the previous week, we had 1.2 million people join the unemployment workforce. Now we have about 1.3 million people that just joined the workforce. Now this is actually a really huge thing to be aware of, because not only does it show that the numbers are really starting to tick up a high again, but actually I believe that in the last few weeks we are starting to see those numbers rise again. And this graph basically really indicates that if you especially look at the last couple of bars at the very far right, the most recent numbers, you can basically see that we had a lot of improvements from the very beginning, but once you actually kind of tick down, we are now U-turning again. And I believe that there was some report that basically we have not had 1 week where under 1 million people filed for unemployment since something before the pandemic. Ever since this started, at least 1 million people have filed for unemployment every single week. And for record, I believe last year we have not had, I don't even believe, a single week where the unemployment ever reached 1 million per week. And now we are hitting those records every single week that's been going by. Now, I really just want to end this by doing a quick touch-up, talking a little bit about the third stimulus check, and maybe also about the Senate elections and about how everything could potentially impact the second stimulus, including the unemployment aspect, because they are all, pretty important and connected. But it's really that there have been a lot of talks that we may even be seeing a third stimulus check. So because they actually shortened the unemployment so that it doesn't end at April, but it actually ends at March now, there is actually a talk that because the $600 Heroes Act is actually still very much on the table, it's not being looked at this time, but there is actually talks that depending on how the Senate elections go next year, they may even bring it back. If they manage to pass an additional unemployment relief, then there is a say that by making this 300 and earlier, it may actually maybe just by one silver lining potentially, is that it may make it so that if we get an even better unemployment package, it's going to be able to replace the 300 even sooner, especially if it actually does end up being an amount over the $300. Now, I do also believe that many people say maybe one of the reasons why Mitch McConnell has finally kind of gave in a little bit for it, I think that there was a lot of say that he had maybe a little bit of an underlining motivation that maybe he wants to finally do stimulus checks, aside from the fact that a lot of people are basically preaching and pushing and pressing it on him right now at this time. I think is also because I think he's trying to use it maybe as a way to look a little bit better for the Georgia Senate elections to gain a lot of voters, especially because since in the presidential elections it has already flipped a Democrat. I think that the thought about it having to flip again may be on the line. Because I think there have also been a couple of GOP supporters that have actually come out to talk a little bit about the fact that because Donald Trump spent, as you guys probably remember, a lot of time, preaching about how much voter fraud was going on in the system, that there's actually, it's kind of funny how events turned out, but a lot of GOP supporters that are actually kind of hesitant now to come out to vote because they feel that, well, if my leader told me that it's fraud and, everything is rigged, is it even worth it to try to come out and vote into such a system? So there's a lot of people that are questioning if they even want to vote for it now. So in a crazy turn of events, that because some of the GOP supporters may be hesitant to come out, it actually increases the chance now that the Senate may even actually very much now flip. But of course, we don't know yet, and that's probably something that we have to wait till January to finally find out. So that's what I really wanted to cover in today's update. Hopefully you guys found some insight. We're going to probably release even more details about that as we start to roll on. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay well. Remember to smash the like button if you haven't done so already. Consider subscribing, hitting the bell notification button for future updates. I have other videos feel free to kind of check out about explaining the different unemployment programs and different bills. And feel free to comment any questions, thoughts about really anything at all. Even more true about your current thoughts about the new adjusted version of this bipartisan proposal, whether you guys are in support of it, whether you hope for more to be desired, whether you think they should be giving more, or really honestly just anything at all. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay well. Enjoy the snow day if you guys are in the Northeast, because it's really coming down right now. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay well, and hope to see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much again.